Welcome to the New Orleans What Are We Doing podcast. This is the 504 Core. I'm Corey Rholdon, joined by Michael Foret and New Pelicans. They get swept to Galveston. Brandon Ingram, terrible, but he had 8 points in the final game. He knew it. He knows it. I don't know what you can do. CJ McCollum was horrible. The whole team just kind of gave up in game three. We'll get to the Saints a little bit later. I actually like their draft. But Mike, initial thoughts on the Pels being swept to Galveston with that dirty wood.
Um, you know, Obviously underachieved in the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. Wish they would have closed out game one, but that was the moral of the season. They just couldn't close any games out. They were 0 I think with the playoffs included, they were 0 26 heading into the fourth quarter. The record's 0 26 heading into the fourth quarter with no lead. So, they need to figure out crunch time issues. It's just very frustrating to see what this season transpired into. Yeah, I'm trying to take away some positives. Obviously, you won 49 games. That's a positive. David Griffin spun that as a positive in the press conference. So um, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping to see. I mean, I obviously don't want Brandon Ingram to be hurt, but I'm kind of want to see some kind of excuse from him because that was really really terrible. I feel like he had to have been. There was something still lingering just to put up what he did because he looked out of sorts. He looked like Team USA Brandon. So I'm really not too sure what went on there. But McCollum didn't really help at all either. It was just frustrating to watch as a whole. I guess on to the next season. But this will be a busy offseason, no doubt about it. Even David Griffin confirmed it. And I think people are getting pretty antsy. I was actually at the game. I'm jumping around here, but I was at the game, the final game, game four, and the arena was only like 70-80% full, and like people were getting fed up. So it's just kind of the same. It just feels like it's the same thing over and over again. And yeah, it's just unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just that Zion injury really left the balloon out of the air because with Zion, you felt like you can compete against anybody. But I liked what Griffin kind of said. Hey, this is not an off season to be complacent. This is an off season to get better. Where are you looking to get better? Point guard, center, small forward, Brandon. Well, point guard, Brandon Ingram, center are the places I'm looking to improve.
Are you talking about like rank them, or are you just talking about
No,
like?
that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
I'm
you
looking to
definitely
move
you
on
definitely
from
have to
Brandon
have that.
Ingram and you go and get another star and you use your some of your assets to go get that star that fits Zion in this young core. Um, you need to get a versatile athletic center that somehow shoots threes. So Laurie Marketing, maybe. I don't know. Um, but yeah, there you go.
I was kind of thinking like, is there a Miles Turner Ingram deal like that could possibly be there? No.
I think Miles. So we've been talking about Miles Turner for like 8 years now.
Well,
He's
he's
getting
like just
old.
like the most obvious fit. Like he doesn't demand the ball that much. He's a decent defender. He can shoot threes when he's called upon. Like he's
Can't
not.
rebound.
Yeah, I don't know. There's really no like obvious guy. I know Jonas Valanciunas. People around the city said he's already had moving trucks, so he ain't coming back. Najee won't be coming back. So they're really, there's no obvious answer. Everyone's saying Claxton, but there seems like Brooklyn's putting an emphasis on, trying to re-sign him unless there's a sign and trade or something like that. But there's really no obvious answers. We've been kind of saying that for the past 6-8 months, however long it's been. I really don't know what it is. But yeah, no. If you take care of you need a smart point guard, just some kind of lead point guard because when they're in transition, they're unbelievable. But when they're in the half court offense, they look like the worst team in the NBA. So I really don't even understand, um,
Conley has
their
done
scheme.
wonders for the Timberwolves.
What's that? Oh
Mike
yes,
Conley
a
has done
veteran.
wonders for the Timberwolves.
Yep, I agree
I'm
with that.
serious.
Yeah, you need a veteran. You need someone that's got experience that can run an offense, not
Would Chris Paul be
overreact.
an option?
Chris Paul, but I don't think he'd want to come here. Maybe I don't know is he a free agent this year? Does he have a player option? What is it?
It's a free agent.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
just San Antonio.
yeah, I mean I would I would definitely look into it, but he talks so highly of the city in every podcast or whatever he does, and yet he never shows any kind of inclination in wanting to come here. So I'm not totally sure. Chris Paul would be a fun one. I don't know. He's definitely not a long term answer. He was like 35, 36. So I'm not totally sure. I was thinking DeJounte Murray. Obviously, I've been floating that around forever, but it's just disappointing. I really don't know. But yeah, I hope it's just not like one or the other where you just get one point guard, not a center, or center, not a point guard. So,
You got to go all in this offseason. Dude,
but
you had
what
so
is
much
all in?
momentum. You had so much momentum in the city 2 years ago after that Sun series. You start out great, the city's all on your back, and then it deflates. And the same thing happens again at the end of the year. So you have to go all into this year, Mike.
What is all in
You
for
gotta
you?
you gotta go get another star, and you gotta fill some holes.
So like, do you have a cap on how many picks like you would trade this offseason? Like if I said this offseason we traded Ingram, I obviously don't know the guy, but if I said this offseason we
It
traded
depends on the
Ingram,
guy, Mike.
yeah. I hope they don't mortgage like their entire future, because if you go off of like what this franchise is and like probably will end up being, like you can't just completely mortgage your entire future. Maybe it's one or two moves followed up by a bunch of like little smaller moves that add up to something bigger. I'm not totally sure, but there's talk that Trey Young, but if he could become available, I would really, uh, I would hate this team so much if they went after Trey Young. I'd be so disappointed if they thought that was the guy. I mean, might as well just give CJ McCollum a max instead of going after Trey Young, because what's the point? Um,
To that point, just looking at the NBA playoffs, the Western Conference. What do the Nuggets, Timberwolves, and OKC? What have they all done that's different than the Lakers or the Suns?
Done different. Well,
They built through the draft and they built organically, right? They took their time and they built through the draft and they built organically and they got one star or made one move, right, to set themselves above. Rudy Gobert from Minnesota, Aaron Gordon
but
for
you can't,
Denver.
that Rudy Gobert trade. You can't do something like that for a player like Rudy Gobert. I mean, if you lined up the top 20 players in the league, is Rudy Gobert getting mentioned as a top 20 player? No.
Yeah, but if they it fits them, it
Yeah, that's
fits
true.
them, and it's a piece that
Um,
they needed. And in that trade, they also got Mike Conley.
yeah, that's true. I don't know. Maybe is there a Walker Kessler kind of piece where like you maybe give up two or three first.
I think it's a Lori.
But
I think it's
Laurie's not that defensive guy that you can put on somebody and go and get 12 rebounds. Like he's
yeah.
more of a stretch four kind of guy. Would he fit well with Zion? Yeah, but I don't think he really helps with what you really need. I mean, they don't have any centers coming back. Zeller's a free Zeller. Zeller's coming back. Valanciunas isn't coming back. They don't have one. Do they? I don't think they have one center on the team coming back next year. Nance is your small ball five. Like that's not it's not ideal, huh?
Sorry, I make bad passes, Nance.
Well, unless there's a guy in the draft they like want to trade up for, maybe that could be like an unsuspecting move, like trading all the way up. Maybe Brandon Ingram's a part of a trade to Detroit or um, something like that. Maybe there's something we're not seeing, because that kind of is how Griffin operates. It's always like these under the move, like or under these table moves that like no one really sees. Like when he traded Holiday, no one saw the Bucks being. Everyone was saying like all these other teams, and then next thing you know, you get a tweet from Woj saying that he trades him to the Bucks. So Griffin kind of operates in that way. Um, there's just no obvious answer. I will say that. I don't know.
To the Saints.
Huh?
You want to move on to the Saints?
Well, before we do that, are we gonna talk Pels like in the next until probably gonna be dead till like draft time, huh? There's really nothing to talk about Pels wise.
There's nothing to talk about anything else. We're probably going to talk about Pels next week too, or unless you want me to talk about watching Jamal Murray hit a step back. for the Nuggets in this Nuggets Wolves series. If you love basketball, get your popcorn, set your schedule every night because, in my opinion, whoever wins that series is going to win the NBA Finals. I do not trust the Celtics in the last 3 minutes of games to close out games. The Wolves have a dog, and that dog is Ant. He's the truth, bro. What I saw him do against KD, talk his shit and then go dunk on him and drop 40 points in a closeout game on the road. He's everything I wanted Zion to be. Everything. Anthony Edwards, dog. And then you got the best team in the NBA, team I cover. They're so good. They could be trailing the whole game.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, it doesn't matter. They
Yeah.
just play efficient. They know how to turn it on. They play efficient basketball, right?
The
In the
stats from
last in the last 5 minutes of games, they have zero empty possessions. It's always it goes through Jokic and Jamal Murray, touches their hands, and they'll kick it out to Michael Porter Jr., who's a sniper.
yeah, I mean the Lakers led. There's like a crazy statistic.
76%.
Yeah, it was something insane. Most of the series, most of the time. So
And it was a
yeah,
4-1 series.
yeah, no, it's pretty crazy how they are crunch time. But yeah, I agree with. I mean, whoever wins the series definitely come out the West. I definitely agree with that. Celtics, a pretty damn good team. I don't know when Porzingis is supposed to come back, Tingus Pingus, but yeah, we'll see. So what do you think in that series?
Depends on which Nuggets team. So what I keep saying in my broadcast, right? I went live. I did my whole Lakers funeral, but what I emphasize, they have to get out to faster starts, right? These 5 days of rest are huge for the Nuggets because it lets Jamal Murray rest and it lets KCP rest. Two players who are hurt, but they have to start out faster and they have to stop turning over the ball in the first 3 quarters because Minnesota's going to come out with that juice, man. Like I haven't. Ant is such on the rise, dude, and that
Yeah,
team is deep. They're big. How the Lakers stopped the Nuggets in 2021 or 2020, whenever they won their Mickey Mouse Clubhouse championship, it's because they had three 7-footers, and the Wolves have something similar, right? With Gobert, Cat, Naj Reid. The problem is Jokic kills Gobert. He had one game where he had 47 points. Gobert refused to get the double team on him, and Joker's like, "I have 47, brother." It's like, and in the last game, 10 is a regular season, he had 41-point triple double on Gobert. He kills Gobert, right? And then Cat is kind of soft, right? So you analyze it. Jokic kills Gobert, Cat soft. So it should be Nuggets, right? Ant's a difference maker, man. That's like it equals everything out. So I don't know right now. I want to say I think this Wolves team is like the Bulls team in the 80s when they lost to the Pistons. I think they're a year or two away. And I think the Nuggets come away with this one, but it's going to be a hell of a series.
yeah, I agree. I was gonna say Denver in 6. That's my prediction. I'm not gonna steer away from what they've done this season and what they did last season. So, obviously they don't Bruce Brown, but they're still top 3 team, top 2 team. So you still got Jokic. Murray's unbelievable. Is Murray going to be the best? Is I think Murray will go down as like one of the better players to never make an All Star team.
I
Like,
think he might make one next year after all he's done this postseason.
you think? I know Chris Broussard, one of my friends, sent me a tweet and it was like, if
Hall of Fame.
If Jamal Murray wins a championship, he should go to the Hall of Fame. It's like, it's pretty crazy. Like, you never make an All Star team, but you're going to go to the Hall of Fame. So,
Dude, Michael Porter Jr. is really good too. He's had multiple 20, 30-point games in that series.
well, he's
He's been
played
a
out of
really
his
good
mind.
shooter. Aaron Gordon, just full of energy, full hustle,
He's a
getting all
dumbass,
the
though.
loose.
He
He
does a
makes
lot.
some,
He makes a lot of Larry Nance type bonehead plays. Like I
yes,
remember
but
there's some
it's
stretches of games when you're watching them, you're like, oh my god, like who is a toddler like programming this dude? Like I don't understand it.
he
But
just
yeah,
plays hard though. I
he
respect
plays
him.
hard, but like yeah, he's out of control a lot of times. But he's kind of the X factor. Like him and no, Porter Jr. is definitely the X factor. But like if Gordon plays in control and plays smart basketball, they're definitely a way better team. But I mean, I remember watching the Lakers series. There were stretches where I'm just like, oh my god, like this is insane. So, um, Yeah, I would say Denver in 6. Just stick with it, and then kind of let Minnesota figure it out. But yeah, Ant is on a different level right now. I mean, watching him last game, it was like people are comparing him to Jordan just by the way he plays. Not, they're
Bastard.
not. Yeah, so I love his mindset, killer mindset. It's gonna. I think that's probably gonna be the best series out of the whole playoffs, besides maybe the finals. I mean, I don't really see a better matchup out there. I don't think you can really make a better matchup out there. So, um, yeah. So, what are your final predictions for that?
Say Nuggets in 7.
In 7. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Um, any other NBA you want to cover? That's kind of the main topic right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like right now, we're just so busy in Colorado. We got the Avs too, who just beat the Jets. The Avs have two of the best three players in the NHL. No, nobody in Louisiana cares about hockey, but I
I
think
do.
I think they beat the Stars if they play the Stars or the Golden Knights next round. They've had their number this year in the regular season, and just like the Avs are just so talented. They have three top 10 players. You got Miko Rantanen, and you can have say like four top 30 players with Nichushkin. They're just loaded. They got experience and busy ass time for me, Michael Foret. I got to cover two teams. I'm going to Ball Arena, spending all day there, multiple times a week, and then dealing with fucking Bo Nix.
What are
I
the
love it.
Rockies doing? What are the Rockies doing?
The Rockies just broke a record for the most games trailed in the
Nice.
MLB.
They're
30
back.
straight to start the season, baby. My boy
They're back.
Dinger does not deserve this. Free Dinger. Free him.
Is
They
that the
are on
coach?
pace to lose. No, Dinger's the mascot. He's the dinosaur. He's a good
Oh,
dinosaur.
I don't keep up with the Rockies or know anything about them. Yeah, no.
Um,
Sounds like they're back, huh?
who the Rockies? The Rockies are done.
Yeah. Wait, what was the reception like in Denver for Bo Nix?
Good. I mean, I think it was him or McCarthy. We kind of thought. Um,
Were Bronco fans kind of preparing themselves for
Yes,
Nick,
yeah,
your
like
quarterback?
they talked themselves in it, right? Because he
Oh,
had the
yeah.
77% completion. He didn't take sacks. Dude, you go look at Russell Wilson last year, bro. That was so he would do like circles in a clean pocket, right? And Peyton's offense is get rid of the football quick, on precise decisions, ball out of his hands quick. Bo Nix could possibly do that. Am I a Bo Nix fan now? I watch him at all. Okay. I'm not. But could he work in Sean Payton's system? Potentially. We'll see. Sean Payton's putting his legacy on the line for this guy.
Well, I have
Because
a
if
theory
it
about
works,
that.
he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what Sean Payton's doing, but I mean, I have a little bit of inside knowledge that Sean Payton does want to come back to New Orleans. So I've heard that from multiple people that have close ties with Sean Payton. But my opinion on what Sean Payton's doing, he doesn't give a fuck. He's just like he cares, but he doesn't like if
You
he's got to
said
go
he
all
doesn't want to come back to New Orleans?
he does. So I'm
I
saying
heard
like
that too.
yeah, I'm saying that
But you
he
heard that from my source.
no, I heard it from a different source too.
Saying my source. You heard that from my source.
No, no, I got your source and I got another source that is tied up with him too. So what I'm saying is though, like he doesn't he'll go all in on Denver, and if it doesn't work, then take a year off, 2 years off, whatever it may be, and then come back to New Orleans. He might not even have to take a year off. Like, but then again, you got Dennis Allen, who you know I don't think Sean Payton will get fired next year. But the
Got a
year
big
after
piece,
that, if
Mike.
they suck and they flop, he's not going to get fired. But the year after that, they suck and flop. Like it could be the timing could be right
It
for him to
might
come
be
back.
he might have a 3 year lease, Mike. They gave him full reign out here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. He's going to go all in, and if it doesn't work out, he just knows in the back of his mind he's got another franchise just kind of waiting for him. That's my opinion. Obviously, I have no idea, but I've heard from your source. I got another guy who's like who knows him pretty well, and yeah,
Thinking about tomato sauces, by the way.
huh?
Okay. You want to talk about Saint Stroud real quick?
Um, yeah, for sure. What'd you think of it?
Love the Kool Aid pick. Big fan of Kool-Aid. I feel like that's Marshawn Lattimore's probably out the door. Left tackle pick was great as well. I have no complaints. I This is the first Saints draft. I've kind of sat there and I'm like, I like it. It's the first Saints draft in a while. I thought I liked it. The Spencer Rattler pick, obviously, I'm biased with Michael Pratt, but the guy has a ton of talent. He's a gunslinger. Immature. I'm not going to say character problems, but a little immature, likes to throw a lot of picks, but he's got a high ceiling. And to pick him in the fifth round was solid as well. I have no complaints, Mike, about their draft.
I love the draft. You got a basically, I would say surefire tackle, but pretty much surefire tackle. Didn't really allow many sacks. I love linemen that just don't get blown back. Everyone was like, "Oh, Troy Fatano, Troy Fatano." Watch his highlights; he immediately gets blown up by defensive ends and the Pac-12. So I'm glad this guy's massive. He doesn't give up sacks. Trading up for McKinstry, they didn't really give up that much to trade up. So I love that. He's arguably top three corner in this draft, maybe even top two. He's good. Sean Payton was talking about was on the ESPN draft show before it started. And they were like, "Who do you think is a better player between Arnold and McKinstry?" And he basically said McKinstry has a better feel for the game. He's a more mature player. Like he thinks he would say McKinstry. I was like, wow, I thought that was pretty good. And Terry Arnold went in front of him. So I think that's a really good pick. Speaking on Spencer Rattler, I love that pick. They didn't have to one. Okay, so this is what I think about Rattler. If I'm the Saints and you don't have a franchise guy, like you could say Carr is, but he's older. But if you don't have a young franchise guy, just burn a fourth, fifth, sixth round pick every single year until it works out. Like, what's the downside? Like, even if it hits 1 out of 10 times, it's still worth burning that pick. I mean, most times fifth round, sixth round guys don't even make the team. You what are those guys worth when they do hit? I mean, they're worth a ton. So I love it. This guy was talked about being the first overall pick, 2 seasons ago before he transferred, and he transferred to South Carolina. Character question marks, but that was from a high school Netflix documentary when he was 15 years old, 16 years old. So, a highly touted guy. He's gone through some adversity, which is good. He's coming in to learn the system. Like he doesn't have to be a star right away. I really do like the pick. I'm not saying he's going to be some Hall of Fame or anything, but if I'm the Saints every single year, just take a guy or two if you don't feel like you don't have a guy waiting in the wings. So there's really no downside. Um, all the rest of the picks, they filled a lot of needs too. Like every single one of their picks is considered a need on their roster. So, um, they got that guy in the seventh round who's a tackle. Probably a developmental guy. He might kick the guard, but seemed pretty fired up. You definitely need someone like
Hey,
that.
man.
Huh?
I love Kool-Aid. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that they filled a lot of needs in the draft. So I'm excited. I don't think the Saints are going to be contenders or anything, but I'm excited to see what this draft is going to be turned into. All
Jalen Ford too.
Yeah, Jalen Ford. Yeah, they just have a bunch of like solid upside guys. Like they took a couple swings, and I think they're going to land a couple of these. So I'm excited about it. The only way a franchise to really get back on track fast is by having a nice draft, and they definitely did that. But obviously, you can't tell just a week after a draft. You got to give it a couple of years to kind of play itself out. But I think they did really well, and it universally praised as well. When was the last time you seen a Saints draft where like all these experts and insiders and all this stuff were like giving the Saints an A+ grade? Hasn't It's been a while.
I kind of don't trust that because they thought 2017's draft was bad. So I mean, like, but still, I like it. We'll see.
Yeah, no, but I just like the Saints is like they didn't trade up, they didn't give up any future assets. They got Rattler in the fifth, definitely worth it. Um, and then just like I said, players in need, they did it, and they picked high upside guys, and seems like all the guys have pretty solid characters as well. I know the Saints have valued that, so um, no, I'm excited to see what they can do. Do you think Rattler or Hayner is going to win the backup job?
I think Hayner to start and Rattler long term.
Mm. They said Hayner was working with I think they said Gruden all off season. Like he was with them like every single day. So I think it could pay dividends. It's good for Hayner too. It's good for Rattler. Like you have competition. Competition brings the best out of people. So in my opinion, no, I'm excited to see what can become of it. What's that?
Not Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, Nathan Peterman wins the starting job? Question mark.
Bro.
What are those Vegas odds?
Dude, you'd be a billionaire.
Nathan Peterman MVP odds. Can we get that on FanDuel?
You would own the country.
Yeah, you'd buy a small country. Yeah, no, that'd be fun. What would you give the grade?
A minus.
That's what I was gonna say that. It's almost impossible for me to give an A plus unless
Yeah.
but no, I thought they did really well. Got no gripes with it. So
I'm happy as I could be for this draft.
yeah, well, I'm just happy they didn't really mortgage the future. Like I think the Saints have taken a different approach this offseason, which I think they haven't gotten enough credit for, to be honest. They,
Yeah.
every single offseason it's like, oh, we're gonna move mountains to sign this guy or whatever. Really, there really hasn't seemed like that so far, to be honest with you. Just like doing all these like mortgage the future stuff. Like they didn't mortgage in the draft. They didn't really sign anyone big except a guy like Chase Young. And even then, it really isn't that crazy. And it's only a 1 year deal. Do you think the McKinstry is more about a Debo or Lattimore?
Keep hearing Lattimore. I'm gonna stick with Lattimore for right now, unless I hear something.
But what would it like?
What would
You're
it,
trading him,
I have no clue. Right? You have to trade him because he's too
but
valuable just to let
but
him go.
but the dead cap or when you trade him, apparently they reworked his contract to where like if you trade him, it's like a lot. Like you're eating a lot of money. Like it's not going to be some kind of like you just saw L'Jarius Sneed go for their third round pick, and like people were like, "Oh, you just traded one of the best cornerbacks in the league for a third round pick." Like, I think if you trade Lattimore, people are going to be pretty upset with what you get in return. To be honest with you, like I wouldn't be surprised to get like a fifth and sixth round pick or a sixth round pick for him. Like I'm serious. That someone I think Kat Terrell said, like if they wait another year, then it's like much easier to offload him. So I'm not sure. All I do know is they got to pay a Debo after this year. Like he's due for a contract. Um, not sure.
You talked
Huh?
about the Suns real quick. Go back into the NBA. You just talked about the Suns. Potentially having trade KD or Booker. Their owner just came out and said our starting five is coming back. We are just going to make adjustments.
With what adjustments are you going to make, Matt? Um, you're going to pay Bradley Beal $55 million the next 3 years. No trade clause too. Let me add that in there. No, they literally have they literally have no moves to make. I think they're in the second apron without even trading anyone. Without even adding anyone. So there's really no moves for them to make other than taking a step back to go forward. Kevin Durant would be the move. You're not going to trade Booker. Why would you trade Booker? He's one of the best 15 players in the league. He's still 25, 26, whatever he is. He's like you just signed him to a 4 year deal. Like it's literally impossible to trade Beal. He's a negative asset. Why would you? And then it leaves KD. You could definitely still fetch something for KD. He's 36, 37. So they can talk all. Ishbia can say whatever he wants, but the Suns are stuck in my opinion unless they offload one of those guys, and
Well,
everything's
they
pointing
went
towards
all in.
Durant.
They went all in, and it blew up in their face in his like historically fast fashion.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I'm afraid of the Pels. Like, you have to have the right guy. Like,
Yeah.
Is Bradley Beal a good player? Yes, but like, is he worth all that? Absolutely not.
No.
The fit with that made no sense. So, that's what I'm afraid of the Pels. When you say like go all in, it's like a lot. If you honestly look at like the teams that have like went like truly all in the past few years, it really has not worked out. Like,
Bucks. It worked out for the Bucks when they went and got Holiday. And just like some different assets. Worked out for the Bucks.
But the Bucks had all that in place, though. Like they gave up
Obviously, it
Derek
worked out for the
Bledsoe and Grant
Cavs.
Hill. The Cavs, but the Cavs got nothing to show for it. Are you talking about right now?
No, I'm talking
You're
about
talking
the
about LeBron?
Cavs. Yes, with Kevin Love.
But did they got LeBron? They got LeBron in free agency, though, right?
Yeah, and then they got Kevin Love in the
So,
trade.
so like that's the thing with the NBA is like NBA free agency is not the same as what it used to be. Like guys just request trades to fucking a year into their contract. Like like look at the Nets. Like the Nets went all in. That blew up terribly. The Suns blew up terribly. I would say Lakers went all in for Davis. It worked out, but like as a whole, outside of that Mickey Mouse championship, hasn't been really pretty. You have to have that right guy. You have to have that right trajectory. You have to have the right contract. You know, um, there's really no easy answer. I think Griffin's done an amazing job. I think Griffin's added a bunch of good, talented young pieces, but talented young pieces that don't fit together. So we'll see. I'm just glad. You know, would you trade? Would you
Oh,
trade Ingram? Would you trade Ingram and 2 firsts for Durant?
it's Kevin Durant's age.
36, 37. I don't know. But he was probably gonna be a second team all NBA guy this year. Like it's not like
35, so it'd be 36.
yeah.
I don't know, man. It doesn't seem to work out with KD though. Every place he goes,
It'd be so
he's
easy to pitch Durant on this though.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Kevin Durant is a hooper. Like I've heard every single player on a podcast say that. I've heard like everything. Like he just wants to hoop. But like, is he a diva? Obviously, yes. But like, if you could easily pitch to the fact that like, look, dude, we'll have Zion, we'll have you, and then whatever other pieces we can add. That's a lot easier to pitch. I know he has an affinity for Willie Green, so I think it'd be pretty option or pretty. I like it a lot. And then you just say, look, it's a 2-year thing. Like you don't have to. This isn't a long term thing. I don't think he's going to be playing more in the next 5 years anyway. Like maybe.
Something too. According to the Athletic, the belief in Williamson as a bidding star will now forfeit more than ever, or for whatever, more than ever. The Pelicans' next question: who will be joining him if and when he gets there? So the Pelicans believe in Zion, and they now will try to go out and get him another star. Some pieces.
That just came out or something.
It was on the Athletic. It's
Oh,
Will, what's his name, Guillory or whatever his name is. Yeah, Will Guillory, good writer, just posted that.
yeah, he's probably the most um,
And Andrew
Pelicans wise,
Lopez,
he's the most credible source you could
him and
probably have.
Lopez.
Yeah, Lopez, Guillory, Shams, Woj, all those
Christian
guys are pretty
Clark.
credible. Yeah, Christian Clark, all those guys are pretty credible sources. But yeah, no, I think it's obvious. Like Ingram's not the guy to keep. You're gonna have to pay him after this year. I mean, he's a free agent after next year, so like you're either paying him, which he's gonna want a lot of money, or you're not. So and I highly doubt they are. So we'll see. Like I said, I just don't know who the guy is. But um, yeah, is there anything else you want to touch on?
Nope, that's about it, my brother. I
But
gotta
yeah,
go.
all right. Well, that was a good pod. Yeah, if you guys can like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. And yeah, go Stars and Avs. I don't know what else to say.
All right, brother.
All right.